All right, guys, so hopefully you guys just watched the breakdown of the math message that I did in the slide before this. So now we're going to get into today's actual lesson. So it is, how do we express remainders as fractions, which the math message gave you an example of that. And then how do we interpret remainders in context? So that means, what does it mean to our word problem when we can't split something evenly with, we have something left over? So there's 3 ways that you can think about remainders, okay? One way is what we just talked about. So you can show a remainder as a fraction. So you could show a remainder as a fraction, which is an example in the problem we just did for the math message. You can ignore the remainder, or you can round to the nearest whole number or round up. So I'm going to show you an example of all 3 of these ways that you can do remainders in the next couple of pages. So you can grab a pencil and a paper if you want to follow along. Okay, so here's another example of how we can show a remainder as a fraction. So let's read. 4 brothers are given 35 fruit bars. So 4 brothers are splitting 35 fruit bars. They agree to share the bars equally. Most important word here, equally. How many fruit bars will each boy get? So we could do this one of 2 ways. We can do partial quotient, or we can do a picture. So if I have 4 brothers, so this is going to be brother 1, brother 2, brother 3, and brother 4. I'm going to do tally marks until I reach 35 to see how many equally I can do. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 33, 34, 35. Now, I put these 3 at the bottom here because there's 4 brothers and only 3 fruit bars that are left. So I have to think to myself, can I split up a fruit bar? Can I take 4 of those bars, the 3 that were left over, and can I break them apart so all the boys get equal portions? Yes, I could break each bar into fourths. So that means each brother can get 1/4. Okay, so you know that each one of those represents 1/4. So that means brother 1 is going to get 8 full fruit bars plus 1/4 from here, 1/4 from here, and 1/4 from here. So he's getting 3/4 of the remaining fruit bars. That means brother 2 is getting 8 full fruit bars and 3/4 of the bars that are left. So we can interpret instead of writing 8 remainder 3, right? Because we had 8 equally and then 3 fruit bars left over. we can write it as a fraction. Because fruit bars are something you could break. You could break off a piece and give it out. So now let's look at a problem that the remainder can be ignored. We don't have to deal with it. So this is an example of a remainder that can be ignored. 3 children wish to divide 16 toy cars equally. What is that child's share? So the number model for this problem, oops, dropped my pen, would be 16 divided by 3. And remember, you can write that a few ways. So I have 3 children that are going to split the 16 cars. So each of these boxes is going to represent one of those children. Children 1, child 2, and child 3. Now, how many cars can each child have? Well, let's see. Instead of drawing cars, because that would just take too long, I'm going to do X's to represent the cars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I'm going to stop because remember, they only have 16 toy cars. So I could split the 15 among the children and I have 1 car left over. So can we divide that leftover car into equal pieces like we could the stick of gum or the fruit bars? No, because you can't take a car and slice it into thirds, because what's going to happen? The car is going to fall apart. It's not something that could be broken up into pieces. So what should we do with that remainder? We're just going to ignore it because there's no way for us to divide it up between the 3 boys. So we are going to ignore it and say that each child gets 5 cars equally. So this is an example where the remainder is to be ignored. So now let's look at an example where you would have to round with the remainder. So this is an example of a remainder that should be rounded. Steven has 29 photographs. He can fit 6 photos on each page in his photo album. How many pages must he use to hold all 29 photos? So let's ask ourselves a few questions. First, what's the number model that we're going to use? We're going to use 29 divided by 6 equals P for pages in his photo album. So if we did this out, we can do it using the partial quotient. And we can get, so I can do 6 times 4 is 24. And I know 29 minus 24 is 5. So my answer is going to be 4 with a remainder of 5. So that's the answer. So now I know that P equals 4 with a remainder of 5. Or you could write it as a fraction, 4 and 5, 6. Because remember, there's 6 photos to each page. But how many pages did Esteban fill? Well, we know that he filled 4 pages. So let's be sure. He can fit 6 photos on each page. So that means if this is an example of a page, he could fit 6 photos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is page 1. But he has 29 photos. So I know he has enough to fill another page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So page 2. So now I use 12 of those 29 photos. So I'm going to keep counting till I get close to 29. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 for page number 3. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 for page number 4. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. But I want you guys to notice something. What do you notice about this page? It is not filled. This page only has 5 photos. But is Steven just going to get rid of this page and all of those photos? What if those photos showed important memories to him? He's going to want to include them. So this is where you would round up and you would just say that he has 5 pages, even though this one is not filled up equally. So this is an example of where you would round to the next whole number. So he would actually use 5 pages. So I'm going to take that 4 and remainder of 5, and I'm going to round up to the nearest whole number, which would be 5. So he has to put those pages on a different page. So it shows that he needs 5 full pages. So this is an example of the remainder that should be rounded. So make sure you guys watch the next video where I go through step by step how to solve the math journal pages for extra practice.